What's up, everybody? It's a surprise party tonight. I just saw that comment. I thought that was a good one. So we are here. It is Wednesday night. It is time for Mythic Conversations. It has been a crazy month. I spent last weekend in Michigan with my good friends from the My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me podcast at MuskeeCon. If you've never been to this show, it's a ton of fun. The show itself is not a huge show. It's not a ton of toys. There's actually a lot of craft vendors, but it's got a really cool vibe, and it's just a super fun overall weekend. We do the Mythic meetup on Friday night. It's just a great area in downtown Muskegon, Michigan. Lots of great food. Love that show. Cannot say enough about how much I enjoyed being there. Thank you to Pete McCarthy and Jeremy DeWitt, who put on that show and for hosting us. It was an absolute pleasure to be there. I flew back very early on Sunday. Been going crazy with stuff for the Kickstarter campaign, and then I'm back on a plane tomorrow. I'm heading out to Toylanta. One of my favorite shows of the year, probably the show that I buy the most stuff at, down in Duluth, Atlanta. So that's going to be an absolute blast. The Lieutenant Holiday figure, there's been a bunch of great reviewers that have been putting out videos on the Lieutenant Holiday, which is this year's Toylanta figure. It continues that kind of military style Legions feel that we started with the ATL 25 figure last year. So super excited for that. That will be available this weekend, not from the Full Horseman table, but from the Toylanta table. That's where that will be. At the Full Horseman table, we will have all of our figures, the Legions figures and so forth. We will have some Legendary Warrior. There will be very strict limits on those. We only have a very limited amount to sell. So if you get there, definitely get in line early for your best chance to get one of those. And don't be disappointed if we limit you to only one per person. So we will have some, try to make as many people as happy possible this weekend with that. Of course, we're going to have a lot of other Legions there as well. We had an amazing time at Toylanta last year. We're hoping to have a similarly amazing time this year. So I hope to see you. It's a Friday night is VIP night. I think it's from like 5 to 8 or something like that. You can check toylanta.net for all of the information. And then there's all day Saturday, all day Sunday. These are one of those down south shows. So they do like the room swap sales and everything. We don't sell during room swaps because we hang out and go through the rooms. We got a great crew coming down. So Cookie, Len, and George are already on their way. They may actually be in Duluth right now, all ready to go. They drove down there today. Other than that, let's see. We've got myself going, Joe Vassapolo is going, and Vern is going. So we've got a really nice crew of people that are going to be down there in Atlanta to meet everybody. Kirby saying, you guys did a great job of having stuff for us at MuskeeCon. Yeah, absolutely. We actually, I think we got through everybody that wanted a Legendary Warrior. I think there was only a couple people way towards the end that came up. And, there was one guy that came up and he wasn't buying for himself. He was on the phone with someone and he was like, what is it I'm asking for? Legendary Warrior. So he was clearly running for somebody else, which is fine. But everybody that was in line was able to get the Legendary Warrior. So that was very cool. I mean, never want to disappoint people, but with only so much to go around, the full run of the Warriors aren't even in the warehouse yet. We actually like airlifted these in to get them in early for these shows. So, you know, we're doing the best we can to make as many people happy. Let's see what else. So there's been a lot of stuff. I'm just checking the comments here. Yeah. Curtis saying a little over a week away from the 28-hour live stream. That's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait for that. Great way to end the Kickstarter campaign. Articulate at a time saying currently packing for Toylanta. Looking forward to seeing you there. A lot of people saying hello. A lot of people excited. Love is not canon. If you know, you know. So a lot of information's been happening. A lot of stuff's been going on with the role-playing game. And Joe is saying, my flight is at 3:30 tomorrow. Maybe I should just go to the airport now. Yeah, I'm a little worried about coming home on Sunday from Atlanta, but that's future Jeremy problem. So before then, the airport in Rhode Island should be no problem. So I should get to Atlanta with no problem. Getting home might be a little bit more. Oh, important question. What did I think of the Superman ice cream? Well, I'll tell you. I did not get Superman ice cream because Mr. Stephen Bisciotti, for the second year in a row, promised me Superman ice cream and did not deliver. That's right. Lord Bisciotti, the alpha, did not deliver. That's all I'm going to say about that. I know. I 2D4 figures, I was very shocked as well. You know, I put it out there. I told him I wanted it. I didn't think I needed to keep asking. I didn't feel like that was right to keep asking. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I think we see now that what he really thinks of me. He doesn't think I'm a Superman. So he didn't give me my Superman ice cream. So I did not get any ice cream. Actually, that is not true. I did get ice cream. I got like freezer kind of, you know, ice cream treats, those cones with like the chocolate on the bottom. I got one of those from the hotel. No Superman ice cream though. Yeah, Steve was too busy drawing horses. But anyway, let's move on. A lot of stuff going on with the role-playing game. At MuskeeCon, during that meetup, we did a reveal there of the villainous Paladin cleric. So we're going to look at that figure tonight. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all the stuff because with 10 days left to go on the Kickstarter, we have really, really put our foot on the gas. We are very excited for everything that is going on. Now, I will show this. So let me get here. I'm going to log out just because I don't need to be logged in while this is up. So I'm going to bring up the campaign. So I put out a call to arms this morning. I said, by my show tonight, I would very much like to have reached the milestone of 935,000 something dollars. It's the mark. It's our high watermark, right? This is the most we've ever, 935,000 and change is the most that we've ever raised on Kickstarter on the front end. I mentioned this before. When you factor in backer kit that doesn't show on the front end, there was more. We've done over $1 million, but the front end number was 935. So I was really, it was not a cornetto. It's wrong country for that. So I was really hoping that for tonight, we would have broken that milestone, but we made a nice run at it. We're only like, what, $6,000 away from that number. We're going to talk about what unlocks once we get there later, but wanted to bring this up. Thank you to everyone who is backed so far. With 10 days left to go, now is really the time that we're putting our foot on the gas and we're hitting it hard. So very excited for that. And that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at everything that is going on here. Okay. So it just said that it lost connection to my audio. Like I just got a message saying that. I hope that's not the case. Hit me up in the chat. I know there's a delay, so as I'm saying this, I'm not seeing it, but let me know if you can still hear my audio or if I'm just talking and no one's hearing me at all. Cloud says, we hear you still. Yay. Message not being real. Yes. Awesome. Okay. So let's look at what is going on. So Villainous Paladin Cleric. This is the figure that we revealed at MesquiCon this past Friday night. Now, this is the $1 million unlock. So once we get to $1 million, this figure will be available. Let's talk a little bit about kind of creating this figure. So the heroic Paladin Cleric, you're probably all familiar with this, the most popular figure in the Kickstarter so far. This was a figure that we debuted at San Diego Comic-Con last year. And we made a run of them. We anticipated how many we were going to need. We sold them at San Diego and they were like wildfire. They sold out so fast, like 45 minutes each day. We sold out of our allotment at San Diego, and the secondary market went crazy on these things. We had a certain number for the Kickstarter. It ended up not being enough. We heard the fans as soon as we revealed this, the limits that we had on this say that they wanted more access to it. They wanted unlimited access to it. So we made that happen. We did a second run of this. Awesome to see that this has become the most popular figure in the campaign so far. And it's no wonder why. It's totally a deluxe figure, loaded out with lots of different parts, premium soft goods, lots of accessories. It's actually very different than the other figures in the Kickstarter campaign, because a lot of the other figures are very much stripped down and they're half the price. $30, no soft goods, single head, single weapon. So this is the exact opposite, where kind of everything comes together in one box, right? When we put this together, the thought here was like, okay, this is a base player figure plus a character pack plus an extra head from a heads pack plus a premium soft goods upgrade. So everything is in this package right here. So thinking about that, we were like, we want to do something similar, but on the evil side. Good guys can't have all the fun. So that was the thought with this. And, you look at everything we have here. We've got 3 heads. He's got a sword and scabbard. He's got a blunt force weapon. He's got a magic staff, a spell effect, a spell book, and a shield. We wanted to do that same stuff here, but we wanted to make it kind of evil. So we already had that new elf head, the one that's on the elf rogue. Okay, cool. Sorry, just a message here, making sure everything's okay. Everything's great. We had that elf rogue head, and we knew it would look super cool as one of our shadow elves. So for that head, we decided to repaint it as a shadow elf. And then we looked at the rest. We said, okay, we want a hooded head to kind of be the paladin style look. So we did the Valak head. And then we wanted, just like we have the chainmail on the heroic one, we wanted the chainmail with another face in there. At first we considered just doing it as another human knight, but it looked so cool painted as the shadow elf that we decided to go that route. But once again, if you look, it's kind of like piece for piece a match with the heroic, where we've got the sword and scabbard, we got the blunt force weapon, we've got the shield, the magic staff, the spell effect, we've got the spell book. It all matches up. This one actually has one extra piece with that helmet that we'll talk about in a moment. But these are kind of the 3 looks that you can get out of this. So we've got that primary look, that villainous paladin that we have in front there with that elf head. Then we've got what I call kind of the cleric look with that Valak, that repainted Valak head. And then the one all the way to the left, which a lot of people really liked that build. They were like, this guy's a vibe. And yeah, he looks really cool. That's just the figure with the soft goods off. So the soft goods are fully removable, pop them off there, and it's got that head on. So you get a lot of different looks. We mentioned before that part of what we're doing with these figures is Eric created a bunch of new keys for a lot of the different helmet, or in this case, hair attachments. And it's the same key that we have on the legendary barbarian. So that hair piece, the way that comes off and the way that's keyed is exactly the way that this hair on that elf head works. It's the same key as the helmet that's on the skeleton fighter enemy figure, the helmet that's on the barbarian character pack. Though they all work on the same key. So that's one of the things that we did here is we pulled that here off the elf, and we're also including this helmet to give you yet another look. So, I mean, right here, you could have that elf with the long hair kind of as, I always love sets of three, right? I always love like a boss in the middle and two characters on the side. From a display perspective, I just think it looks good. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking like, okay, I could have my shadow elf with the long white hair in the middle. Then I could have the one that I have to the left, and I could put this guy over to the right. So I could kind of have my, villainous paladin with two kind of grunts behind him, all shadow elves. I think that's a really, really cool option there. So once again, this was revealed at MesquiCon. This is going to be unlocked once we hit $1 million. It'll be a $60 figure. So just like the heroic paladin, it will be $60. Now, one of the things that I've seen people asking about are the availability of these items after the Kickstarter. So one thing to be aware of is once the Kickstarter ends next Saturday, which is April 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern time, these will be available at retail for retailers that choose to stock them. They will also be available for late pledging on the campaign, but at that point, all the prices will go up to retail. So all those $30 figures go up to $35. All of the accessory packs and character packs go from $15 to $20. The deluxe figures like this go from $60 to $70. So you're saving $10 on this figure during this Kickstarter. There's a lot of figures available in this Kickstarter. There's a lot of gameplay items. So realistically, I mean, obviously supporting the Kickstarter helps us unlock cool stuff like this. We really want you to be able to support it, but we know that it's not for everybody. Not everybody can do that. We respect that. Just be aware that, especially if you're getting a lot of stuff, the savings during the Kickstarter, during those early prices are significantly lower if you stack them all up. One thing to remember about the Kickstarter is you are not charged until the campaign ends on April 4th at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And for people that are pledging more than $150, there's also the option to spread it over multiple payments. I believe it's like 3 different payments. So you'll pay the first one on that when the campaign ends, and then the next 2 in the subsequent 2 months. That's something you do have to actually select when you make your pledge. You have to select kind of like the pay over time type thing. So $60 will be an add-on figure. Now, this is something else that we revealed. So we revealed this on Monday. This is what we call the enemy head pack. So this is the thing that we put together as a freebie for certain pledge levels once we break that 935,000 and change barrier. Once this becomes our most funded Kickstarter ever, this is what we will put out. This is going to be added for free to what we call the full adventure combos. Yes, Zombie, there will be a backer kit where you can add more, but if you add more in backer kit, it's at the higher prices. So if that $30 figure, if you add it beforehand, you pay $30. If you wait and add it in backer kit, it's $35. If you add that villainous paladin cleric beforehand, it's $60. If you add it after, it's $70. So whether you are adding it in backer kit or doing a late pledge or getting it from a retailer, it's going to be those higher prices. Good question. But back to this. So this is going to be added to what we call the full adventure combos. And I certainly have seen some people bemoaning the fact that we're putting a lot of freebies in the full adventure combo and not in the others. And it's a very simple reason. We've already priced the others as low as we can. Our goal with this Kickstarter, with these products, was to price these as aggressively as possible. This is a very different campaign than what we did for Baethair. With Baethair, we were able to just throw extra stuff in because you got to remember, Baethair was essentially for one item. It was a campaign for, there were the accessory packs, but it was essentially a campaign for one thing, Baethair the Dragon. So there were legitimate price breaks that we got above certain numbers. And I've mentioned this before. The way that we did Baethair was if we got, a $20 price break, we, instead of just making $20 more profit per piece, we added something into the Kickstarter, into the campaign that was equivalent to $20. So we added more value and we just kept our same profit margins on those items. This is very different than Baethair. Not only is this not for one item, there's 40 SKUs in this Kickstarter. So even though we're hitting these higher numbers, no individual item is going up to such incredible amounts of increases that we're getting price breaks. At this point, there are no price breaks for anything we're doing. And we've priced it so aggressively, kind of knowing how many we were going to sell anyway. So there's not a lot of wiggle room in a lot of those figures. That being said, a lot of those lower tiers, those lower tiers that are just like the core 6 figures, just not a lot of meat in there. That being said, we have added a free set of dice, a free dice to every one of those core 6 figures. One of the figures will have 2 dice. So if you collect all 6, you'll get a free set of 7 dice. The core rulebook has had a foldable map of Mythos added. We'll be able to add additional numbers of these heads for money. Yes, these will be available for $10. That's what I'm getting to, Doomed Customs. We've added, stuff to the beginner box. So along the way, we are certainly trying to plus up some of these products and some of these levels. But when we get to that full adventure combo, the full adventure combo is all the figures that we started with, the character packs, and all of the gameplay items. It's just simple math. There's more there. It's a higher number, so we have more wiggle room to add something like this for free. That's really the way it is. Our goal with this is to add a ton of value. I remember years ago going to a toy show, and at toy shows, you're so used to like negotiating with people, right? So used to saying oh, you have $50 on that, will you take 35? And, trying to negotiate. And I remember having a conversation with one toy dealer, and it always stuck with me because I said, what can you do on this piece? And he said, honestly, the price is the price. He said, I do not price my stuff 25% higher just so I can lower it and make the buyers feel good. All of my prices are exactly where they should be. I know the market. These are great prices. And the dude was right. What he had on his table, the price he had was a great price. I would happily would pay it, but I was so just geared to trying to get something cheaper because that's the way it's done. And this idea of, price things the way that they should be priced, price them as aggressively as you can. Yes, you won't have room to negotiate and come down, but is that really the goal? Is the goal to be able to negotiate, or is the goal to have the best possible price? And we've kind of always had that mentality that we price things as aggressively as possible. Dude, $30 Legions figures with all these paints apps that we have on them, these are great. So for something like this, this is going to be added for free, but it will be a $10 add-on. So for anyone that's getting a free one with the full adventure and they want more, or anyone that's just not backing a full adventure and they want this, they will be able to add this here for $10. This is just a quick Photoshop that adds those heads to the orc barbarian enemy figure and the skeleton fighter enemy figure, which is really what these two heads were created to go with. It does also have that kind of cool bone sword that is painted in the same standard bone color. Oh, I should say that the skeleton head is the same standard bone color as the skeleton fighter, Rick's the skeleton thief that's in the campaign, and any of the figures we've done in standard bone, like Tuperculi, Maxilius the Harvester, Scally Bone Splitter, Skeleton Raider, those all have that same standard bone. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, the core rule book's great. The figures are great. Awesome. A lot of cool stuff. Now, this was another thing we revealed this week. Now, this is a Kickstarter exclusive. So for everyone saying like, oh, will these be available after the fact? The answer on this one is no. We wanted to add some standard skulls in here. We know some people, like the idea of building out their kind of the skeleton ranks with some of those additional skulls that didn't have the helmet on it or the vampire one with Rick's. So this matches all of those as well. So this is yet another skull head that you can use either on your figures, or you can just use it for like dioramas. Or if you're playing the game and you want some skulls around, you absolutely can do that as well. Dude, $15 for 5 skulls. So $3 a piece, not 5, $3 a piece. You're getting these skulls here. This, I think, is a really cool add-on item. So again, this is an add-on item. If you are basically, if you pick your pledge level, after you pick your pledge, there's a bunch of add-on items you can get. This is one of those add-on items. Okay. So those are all the reveals that we've had kind of leading up to today. There's a little fun Photoshop that puts all those skeleton heads on a bunch of different characters. Like I said, they'll work with a lot of different figures in this wave. This was the most recent stretch goal unlock. This is a freebie that was opened up. So this is an acrylic standee of the heroic Paladin cleric. Now, this is actually a Kickstarter exclusive as well. That standee and the miniature painted like the heroic Paladin, it's actually the heroic Paladin in this case. There's only 2 ways to get it right now. So you can either get it with this set, which is the beginner box with bonus. For $99, you get the beginner box and you get that heroic Paladin cleric. This now comes with the exclusive miniature painted and the standee. It is also available with the full adventure with bonus set for $680. That comes with pretty much everything that we started the campaign with. And I keep saying that, everything we started with. We're going to talk more about all-ins and about this concept of getting an all-in on a Kickstarter that includes stretch goals in a few minutes. So stay with me. Yesterday, we revealed a pretty cool thing. So this is, the sculpt with the missing tooth. Cloud is right. The skull with the missing tooth has the articulated jaw. So this is what we've got here. This was a 5th character pack. Previously, we had 4 base player figures. We had the human cleric, the dwarf fighter, the elf rogue, and the human wizard. And we did corresponding character packs for all of them, right? We've got the druid that goes with the wizard. We've got the Jaguarian ranger that goes with the rogue. We've got the paladin that pairs with the cleric. And of course, the barbarian that goes with the dwarf. We have one additional $30 figure now. We've got the 2 enemy figures, the skeleton and the orc, but then we released Rick's. Rick's is one that I showed last week. That is the skeleton thief, the only named character in this campaign. He's from the beginner adventure that comes with the beginner box, that starter adventure, the Shadows of Mercurios. So we wanted to put together a character pack that paired with him, and this is what we put together, the Vampire Lore Master. So this is a deluxe character pack. This is a little bit more Tiffany. It's the same thing on both the front and the back for the standees. This is, at least that's what it is now. This is a deluxe character pack because it's got, quite frankly, more than the other character packs too. A lot of the other character packs have like one head, a weapon, or weapon or two, maybe one other item. The barbarian one has a set of legs, but this one, because the Rick skeleton has skeleton arms and skeleton upper legs and knees, we really needed to add more here to be able to flesh this out. One of the cool things is because you're getting some fully fleshed arms, these will work on a number of things. You can use this with that mythic monster builder with the Varg. There's the vampire head that comes in the heads pack that you could use here as well. I did see some people suggest they wish we would have used like bare white, like thighs and knees. It's funny. That's actually how it started, and it looked ridiculous. Like it really did not look good. The idea of putting those out there wasn't a part that we've ever done before, but it was so much white that it looked awkward. It was not cool. It looked awkward. That's why we went with armored instead. But you've got this cool head sculpture right here. Eric put together that kind of symbol there. If you've ever heard us talk about the symbol on Baron Valagar, it is meant to be a stylized and kind of simplified representation of Alithia. So that's what it is. So you've got kind of Alithia's got her 6 arms, her 2 arms and the 4 on her back. That is what that is meant to be. It's kind of the simplified representation. So this is online we say that the faction is player's choice. This is very much keyed up for Alithia's brood. So you get the head, you get a neck peg, full set of arms with 2 sets of hands, set of legs, the 3 purple books on the chain, and that really cool torch with the purple flame. So absolutely love this one. This unlock is at 1.2 million. So we've got a lot of stuff we're looking at now that's not unlocked yet, because as we enter this final stretch, we're showing everyone. Early on, I heard a bunch of people saying like, "Oh, you got to start revealing stuff to build excitement." And we were thinking like, okay, well, if we show all this stuff in the second week of the Kickstarter, we'll have nothing in reserve as we get to that final stretch. So we're in that final stretch now. 10 days to go as of right now. It's time to start revealing this stuff. This will be $20 when it unlocks at 1.2 million. This shows the unlocks. So far, we have unlocked the Mythic Monster Builder at 500,000. We unlocked that day one. 750,000, we unlocked the Necronominous dice set. At 2,000 backers, we opened up Rick's the Skeleton Thief. So we are looking now for $1 million. We are going to open $1 million. We are going to open up the Villainous Paladin Cleric. At 1.2 million, we're going to open up that Vampire Lore Master. And then at 1.5 million, if we can get to that mark, that will be such a milestone. By the way, at 1.5 million, this campaign will literally be the 3rd most popular action figure Kickstarter ever. The only 2 that will be above it are the 2 Spawn Kickstarters. $2 million. If we can get just above 2 million, we'll get number 2. We've got to get to like 3.5 to beat the first Spawn one. So I don't know if we'll get that high. I think we can do 1.5 million. I think we could do 2 million, but that might be a little aggressive. 1.5 is really where I want to get, because we have one more unlock at 1.5 million. You guys want to see it? Do you want me to show you what the unlock? Should I do a reveal here on the show at 1.5 million? What do you think? Hit me up in the chat. Joe is saying, Jeremy, you should show them. Well, if Joe Vassapolo says I should do it, then I'm going to do it. So the Heroic Paladin Cleric. We already talked about this. This is the most popular figure in the campaign. This figure created the Villainous Paladin Cleric. So this is the one that, we said we can't let the heroes have all the fun. We've got to have a bad guy. I fully anticipate that as soon as we release the Villainous Paladin Cleric, we're going to get a bunch of pledges. But We didn't want to end there. So we've got the heroic Paladin cleric. We've got the villainous Paladin cleric. What's next? We've got heroic, we've got villainous. Where do we go from here? What is going to complete this trio of Paladin clerics? Of course, it's the malignant Paladin cleric, because goblins rule. We did not have a goblin in the campaign. All of the Gob Hollow loyalists were very, very upset. We're not going to leave you out. We're going to take care of you. Revealing here for the first time, the malignant Paladin cleric, literally my favorite figure in this campaign. There he is. Check this guy out. Check this trio out. Like, this is such a fun group of characters. We've got the hero, we've got the villain, and then we've got this incredibly mischievous goblin paladin. Like, he oozes fun. He uses heroes. Yeah. So Funhouse Customs, Mark Houseal, is in the chat saying, I could kiss you right now. Mark has, in all fun, very good-natured, been very upset about no goblins. Mark texted me, like, was it this morning or last night, saying like, hey, I just want to let you know, and I'm sorry, Mark, I know I'm breaking kayfabe or whatever, but he just wanted me to know that it was all in good fun. And I didn't reply to him. I wanted to reply to him that I was mad at him, but I knew I couldn't keep it up. So I just didn't even reply, knowing that we were going to do this tonight. So let's look at the malignant Paladin cleric. So first off, Brad Treadaway took this photo, and as soon as I opened it, I laughed out loud. Just this guy's face made me laugh so incredibly hard. It was such an incredibly fun, like, his eyes are so big and he's got that smile. This is the head that originally came with the Thwick figure, but it's got that kind of the visor that originally came on this guy, actually, the skeleton, the deluxe skeleton Legion builder. It's got that kind of clipped in, so he's got that visor there, but he looks so happy. But we're not done, because just like the heroic Paladin cleric has 3 different looks, and the the villainous one has 3 looks, we needed to get multiple looks for this one as well. So this is the full loadout, not the loadout, but this is the full group of characters that you will be able to make with this set. Or hell, you can buy 3 of them and you can make all 3. So we've got kind of the cleric look all the way to the left. We've got the paladin look in the middle. And then once again, you can fully take off those soft goods if you want to have a fully unarmored, a fully armored, no soft goods goblin figure. These are 3 heads that have actually never been used a second time before. So we've got the head on Swig. So, hey, maybe this is canon. I mean, this guy is like the malignant, like, cleric here. Is that one of the Swigs who has suddenly found a kind of a home with whatever he's doing as a cleric? Perhaps. You can see the cool spell effect there that we did in yellow, that skull spell effect. And then he's got that, the lower part of that is Zende's staff, and the upper part of that is Thrace's in that cool yellow color. Then that middle one, we've got, as I just mentioned, the Thwick head. And then all the way to the right, that is the helmeted Nubnik head. So let's look at these, the full loadout here. So this thing is absolutely, Joe Vassapolo says soft goods fit on 1.0 figures. These are the 1.0 soft goods. They absolutely will fit. They look a little oversized on the goblin, which kind of adds to the silliness. That is also a 1.0 belt piece there. This is one of those creative kind of builds that we put together that really, really works. It's got all the 2.0 parts, as you can see, all the way to the right, but those 1.0 parts work really fun on this as well. By the way, the comments are coming in fast and furious. I can't even keep up with them. So my apologies. I'm not seeing everything, but it does seem to be that they're very, very positive comments, which is, of course, what we want. So let's look at what we get here. Dude, I love this figure. This figure is so much fun. And like, we've had this plan for a while, and every time when people were like, this is not a goblin, this is not a goblin, it was so much fun because we knew we had this payoff. Like, we knew we were going to be able to drop this as our final figure. I love the fact that he's got goblin green, but it's also Kickstarter green. Like, this is the final figure. The fact that it's green and it goes with Kickstarter, everything just lined up. It's a ton of fun. So you've got that base figure in the middle, which, as we saw, has, you know, the full armor underneath. He's got those premium wired soft goods. The 3 different heads that we talked about, that Nubnik head has that big giant plume there. Underneath the shield, you might not notice what that is. Those are actually the Gideon Heavens brand helmet wings. So we have those as well. So that's yet another look you could get here. You could just pop off that visor and you could put those wings in and give him a different look as well. He does have a set, 2 different sets of shoulder pauldrons, 2 waist pieces, not only the leather belts that he's wearing, but also that more kind of goblin looking one. He's got 2 sets of feet. So he's got those leather boots and he's got the armored feet, 3 different sets of hands. He's got the extra loin piece. He's got that sword with the scabbard, the mace, a couple scrolls, spell effect, and shield. He does have a couple different necks because, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, this actually needs, I love the fact that Curtis says goblin fans. There, you got it. You got your check, guys. You got your check from Curtis. Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Okay, there we go. So once again, if you compare this to the heroic version and the villainous version, again, it's piece for piece. Sword and scabbard, blunt weapon, magic staff, spell effect. We replaced the book with a couple scrolls, shield. So I love the fact of how these 3 look together. And again, looking at them there, man, that lot of fun. Yeah, so Joe is confirming it has both necks. So because of the heads it comes with, he needs both a neck that is a 2.0 to 2.0 peg to 2.0 ball and a 2.0 to 1.0. So he will have both of them, which is always nice. Another look there at the cleric version with that swig head, and then a closer look here at the kind of armored version with that Nubnik helmet there. Love that. I did a custom goblin paladin years ago that used this head with that plume, and it was always a look that I really liked. So when we were putting this together, you know, going back to an old custom like that was a lot of fun. So this shows that visor down. So this is with that Thwick head on with the visor down. So that's a lot of fun right there. Like, the fact that you can display it like that, or you can flip it down, seeing his little eyes poking out through there and that little grin. Oh my God, man. This thing is a ton of fun. I love this guy. Closer look at the other 2 heads. So goblin fans, all the Gob Hollow loyalists, come on. Did we take care of you? Yeah, we did. We took care of you. I'm going to refresh the Kickstarter just to see where we are right now. So still at 929, 457. We're going to see what we can do about that. Once again, 3 different looks, full loadout. This is going to unlock at 1.5 million. When it unlocks, it will be a $60 add-on in the campaign. Okay, are we ready? I think we're ready to move on, right? I think we're ready. Okay. So we've got, these are the unlocks we just talked about, 1.5 million. Now, let's change gears a little bit. We're going to talk about all-ins. So early on in the Kickstarter, we had this full adventure combo. The full adventure combo was like $680, and it came with everything that we started the campaign with. It did not include any unlocked add-on items. Like it includes stretch goals. So I want to be clear about this because there was some confusion early on about like freebie stretch goals versus unlocked add-ons. So a freebie stretch goal is something like the map that we added to the core rulebook. Every single core rulebook is going to come with that map. Like we upgraded the product, the little dice that come in the core six figures. Every one of them is going to come with a die now. That's a total upgrade. You didn't have to do anything to get that. It comes with the product. Other things like the Mythic Monster Builder or Rick's the Vampire Skeleton, those are unlocked add-ons. So those are things that once we hit certain thresholds, they're available. We added them as, a kind of incentive to make this fun. Interestingly, early on, we weren't going to add any of those stretch goals. All we were going to do was what they call material upgrades, things like adding the map, because that is very, very push back the stock sale is going to be late April. So there will be weeks after the Kickstarter before that in-stock sale happens. Trust me. But don't worry. We're not doing it like a week later. It's going to be towards the end of April. But I digress. What I was saying was, I forgot. I totally lost track. I read the comment and I totally lost track of what I was saying. We were only going to do material upgrades. Material upgrades are like a lot of role-playing Kickstarters. That's what they do. Because a lot of Kickstarters got into this scenario where they would add so many new items that if the campaign was really successful, it's awesome that they had raised all this money, but they suddenly had to fill a much bigger set of products than they had anticipated doing. There's plenty of Kickstarters that have failed because they were too successful, as insane as that sounds. So a lot of Kickstarters have scaled back and they've just, slight improvements, better quality paper. It comes with a bookmark, things like that, as opposed to, hey, we're going to open up new stuff. Toy Kickstarters don't work that way. Toy Kickstarters, we're all geared towards hey, once we hit certain goals, we want more stuff. We want more toys. So we tried to, appeal to both audiences here. This is a unique campaign. This is genuinely appealing to both toy fans and to gaming fans. Zach, we're not mentioning what the 1/1 props are with the beginner box because they're part of the adventure. So we don't want anyone to know what they are because we want people who are playing that adventure to experience it organically as part of that adventure. That being said, back to this. So we decided to add these stretch goals. Now, the challenge becomes, what do you do with an all-in? There are a lot, and let me preface this with, I am not throwing shade at anybody right now. I am not. People that do what I'm about to talk about, I disagree with it. No shade. Everyone's going to make their own decisions. Nothing but love. When you see a lot of Kickstarters that have an all-in that includes all the stretch goals that haven't unlocked yet, there's always a caveat that says if those stretch goals do not unlock, buyers or backers will receive equivalent credit for those missing items to buy other things that are unlocked. You see that on lots of campaigns. Having an all-in that includes stuff that hasn't unlocked yet, a lot of campaigns need that, because it essentially lets backers pre-pledge for products that they hope are going to be opened up. At the end of the day, remember, Kickstarter is meant as a funding platform for people that have a dream that they want to see realized. So unlocking, having things that are available to pledge for that technically aren't unlocked yet, it is very much in the spirit of Kickstarter. It is something that we weren't really comfortable with up front. We were like, hey, I don't know that we want to do that. 2 reasons. Number one, just practically the idea of making stuff available that wasn't yet unlocked. We weren't sure if that was the right move for us. Number 2, Cloud, literally almost every Kickstarter does that. Literally look at all action figure Kickstarters. There is a caveat on those that says if things do not unlock, you will receive equivalent credit for things that do. People don't pay attention to it, but it's literally always there. It is always, and I'm not going to point them out, but there have been multiple Kickstarters that have opened, that have funded, but didn't unlock every item. So anybody that backed for that all in, they are not going to get some of those items. Instead, they're just going to use an equivalent amount of money to get some of the stuff that did unlock. And you're going to get value. You're going to get the amount of product that you paid for. It's not like that money just goes away, but there is a risk that you won't get some of the stuff you were hoping will unlock. So that was one of them. The other thing is we didn't want to reveal it. Like, we didn't want to show our hand up front in order to say, like, hey, this is the all-in, and it includes all these extra things, because right away people would know what surprises we had in store. And we very much wanted this campaign to be full of surprises like you got tonight. That being said, this campaign has done so well, we're going to take a risk and we are going to bet on the Legionnaires, because every time we bet on the Legionnaires, they do not let us down. We are going to open up an actual all-in. So we're calling this the Master of Mythos combo set. This will be available on Kickstarter tonight after my show is done. After my show is done, I will add all of this stuff to the Kickstarter. This is what it's going to be. The Master of Mythos combo set includes absolutely everything. It is going to be $965, which is a crazy large number. I totally get that. It's a crazy large amount of things. This is certainly not for everybody. But we had so many people say, we want access to one item, one pledge that literally gets us everything, every figure, every Kickstarter exclusive, every gameplay item, everything. So that's what this is. It's $1,115 in items at the pre-order discounts. So at the pre-order discounts, this is $150 less than if you bought this stuff individually. And keep in mind, we've already discounted it. So let's look at what this Master of Mythos combo includes. 16 figures. So you get 16 total figures, 4 of which are deluxe. You get 5 character packs, 3 head packs. It includes a total of 12 heads. I put 12 heads plus because it also includes the faceplate that's in the heads pack. It includes 2 weapons packs, the core rulebook with map, the beginner box, and that beginner box comes with, maps, the abridged rulebook, the beginner adventure, the monster cards, a dice set, etc. You get 17 acrylic standees. So the way that works is there are going to be 3 sets of 4 acrylic standees plus a 4th set that comes in the actual, you know what? This is wrong. It's actually 19 acrylic standees now that I think about it, because there's 6 that are in the beginner box. So you get 19 acrylic standees, including that Kickstarter exclusive heroic Paladin one. You get 25 minis, including the Kickstarter exclusive painted Paladin. Those 25 minis are all the painted ones and all the unpainted ones. Literally, when I say absolutely everything, this is absolutely everything. Okay, so you get all the unpainted minis, all the painted minis, plus the exclusive one. 4 sets of dice. So one of the sets of dice is the red set that's in the beginner box. You get the blue set, or the night and day kind of set that comes with the core 6 figures. You also get the Kickstarter exclusive ones that have the orange mica in it, and you get the Necronominus dice set. So 4 full sets of dice. You get a set of 6 figure stands. You get, and this hasn't been shown before now, you get a 4 Horsemen RPG dice bag. You get the Game Master screen. You get the 85 metal coins with the holding bag. You get the exclusive 4H RPG pin. And there's going to also be a slipcase for the rulebook beginner box. So that's one of the stretch goals where the beginner box is a separate thing. The core rulebook is a separate thing. There will be a deluxe box that you can house both of them in. So that's one of the unlocks that we have that would be included here as well. Like I said, this is $1,115 worth of stuff at the pre-order pricing. Through the Kickstarter, it's $965. It's a saving of $150. Now, this is going to be both a pledge level item, so this could be the thing that you pledge for. It's also going to be an add-on. So however you want to do it, it's still $965. After Kickstarter, the individual pricing, I said it's $1,230. It's not actually accurate because some of this stuff's not available at retail. That pin, the set of skeleton heads, the exclusive mini and the exclusive standee, none of those are available outside of the Kickstarter. So $1,230 is approximately what it would cost at retail pricing, which means that this is savings of $265. But once again, you can't get all of this stuff after the fact. So $965 will get you everything here. And breaking this down, let's look at this a little more detail here. So the 16 figures, what this includes is 2 each of the human wizard, the elf rogue, the human cleric, the dwarf fighter, and Rick's the skeleton thief. The reason for that, the reason we're duplicating those up is it also includes all 5 of the character packs. For you to be able to use those character packs right out of the gate, you need the base players figures to put them on. So that's why we're giving you 2 of each of those so you can immediately use those character packs. You also get 1 of the Orc Barbarian and the Skeleton Fighter. Do the other deluxe Paladins come with the D20s? Yeah, Matt, any of the new Paladins that we do for the second run, our goal is to make them exactly like the first one. So they will come with the cards and the dice in them. We want them to be, if there's anything different, it will be unintentional. We want them to be the same. So once again, this is the start here. You get all these are all the $30 figures right there, which once again, let's step back for a second. $30 for these figures. I mean, this is a lot of figure for $30. It's a little bit more than our Legion builders have been at $26. I've always had a bit of a love-hate relationship with Legion builders. You know, if you know what they are, they're awesome, right? Because they're basic figures that you can army build with or you can customize and paint. The problem I've always had with Legion builders is the person that picks it up and doesn't understand what it is. I've used this analogy before, but it's like getting a cheese pizza and then complaining that there's no toppings on it. You ordered a plain cheese pizza. The price was lower because it has no toppings. Complaining that it has no toppings is that's silly. It's the same way with Legion builders. Complaining that they don't have paint applications, that's by design to make them lower. But if you don't know that and you pick one up and that's your impression, I always worried that that was not the right first impression for some people. The goal with these was to come in around a Legion builder price, but to not feel like we had cut back. We did cut back paint apps on these. Like there were points that we couldn't paint every single detail, but our goal with these, our marching orders were smart paint applications. Like, let's use the paint where it's going to be most effective. I've always said things like the belts. Belt buckles not being painted really, really stands out. So someone's asking, because you get 2 of the figures, the core, does that mean you get 2 full sets of dice? The reason I didn't list it as that is because 2 of those dice come with the orc and the skeleton. So technically that 5th set of dice will be incomplete. You would have to buy a second orc and a second skeleton to complete the second set of dice. So that's why I didn't list it there and just kind of said, yeah, you'll have an incomplete set of dice, but it'll be exactly like the complete one. Next, 4 deluxe figures. So not only do you get 16 figures, a quarter of them are deluxe figures. So that Mythic Monster Builder is a $45 figure in the Kickstarter. It'll be $55 later. All of those Paladin clerics, those will be $60 in the Kickstarter. They'll be $70 later. So you've got that human Paladin cleric there. You've got the villainous one, the Shadow Elf. And then, of course, you've got the one we revealed tonight, the Malignant Paladin cleric. So you get one of each of these. You also get all these add-on items. So you get that heads pack that comes with the 5 different heads. You also get that faceplate that pops into that chainmail. You get the bag of skulls that come with the 5 skulls. You get that enemy head pack that comes with the orc skull, and that bone sword. And then you get both of those weapon packs. Will the Malignant and Villainous Paladins include a dice? I don't know yet. We haven't actually decided on that. And then finishing this, you get that set of 6 stands. So it's 4 textured stands and 2 perfectly clear ones. And then you get that bag of 85 metal coins. Gameplay items. So you get that core rulebook that comes with the map of Mythos. Then you get that beginner box. Once again, that beginner box comes with a starter adventure, The Shadows of Mercurios. It comes with a abridged version of the rules. So basically, the core rulebook's got everything. The easiest way to say it is the core rulebook has, say, like 12 different playable species. The beginner rulebook has like 5. So you can play a human, a dwarf, an elf, a minotaur, or a skeleton. Those are the rules in the beginner rulebook are those 5. The core rulebook also adds vampire, goblin, Jaguarian. There might be a few others, but that's what it is. So it's meant to be someone that just wants to get started without jumping right into the deep end. But you get all of it there. You get some minis, you get the dice, everything. Also says included in the master of some. You get the dice set there. So that's the top set of dice. That's the one that has that orange mica in it. It's got like a flame-like effect. I know some people have asked for an example of that. I don't have a video of it handy, but I'll try to get that at some point. You get the Necronominous dice set, and then I'm not sure the full set there, that blue one, that's the one that's going to come packed in with the figures. Finally, some stuff we haven't seen before here. You get the GM screen with the brand new art from Sean Andrew Murray. That GM screen is 4 different panels that folds out. So for people that don't know what a GM screen is, I mean, it's a piece of art on one side. So it's just a very cool piece of Sean Andrew Murray art. What this is meant to be is the game master places this in front of them to provide a visual barrier. On the back side, there's all stuff for them. So there's information, there's pouches to hold things, there's stuff that they can write. It allows them to have all the information they need right in front of them to run this game while also providing some visual separation from their players. So that is 4 panels. They're 8 by 11 each, so it's 32 inches wide. For the first time, we're showing the exclusive pin. So we've sold or given out pins like this before. This particular one, because it is Kickstarter, it is in Kickstarter green, and it glows in the dark. And there is also that dice bag. So that dice bag can hold any of your dice sets there. I don't, unfortunately, have photos of all of the painted minis, so I'm just showing some examples of the painted ones I do have photos of. But once again, it comes with a total of 25 miniatures, 13 are painted, 12 are unpainted. I just realized that all of this, I actually didn't show all of the acrylic standees it comes with, because it comes with a whole bunch. I think we just said like 19 acrylic standees as well. So an absolute ton of stuff. Better look at the pin there. So this is the Kickstarter exclusive pin. I know my friend is our pin guy, David's going to be excited for this. Once again, it's got that Kickstarter green on the front. On the back, it's got the 2026 RPG Kickstarter designation. This will not be available outside of the Kickstarter. So that's it. That's everything that you get as part of that pledge level. Now, none of this stuff is only available in that pledge level. All of this is available separately. So anyone that, we're not putting anything like we intentionally didn't say, and you get this exclusive item. If you back at the highest tier, it's the only way to get this. We've been very cognizant to try to make this stuff as accessible as possible. I genuinely said that at first we didn't plan on doing this giant all-in package, but because we've had a lot of people ask for it, and because we feel very confident that we are going to unlock all of these. We know how our fans tend to buy. We know how Kickstarters tend to run. We had that crazy first day. We had that big valley in the middle. And for all of you who have been following the Kickstarter, I mean, you're seeing what I'm seeing, right? The last few days, those pledges have started to climb. We've seen some really, really nice activity on the Kickstarter these last few days. So super excited about that. I have every confidence that we are going to get to that 1.5 million, that we are going to unlock every single thing, and everyone that backs for this full Master of Mythos pledge, this true all-in, you're going to help us get there. Once again, after the show is done tonight, I'm going to spend a little bit of time working, and I'm going to get all this stuff added to the Kickstarter. Very cool, right? Okay, I've got about 30 minutes left. So what I am going to do is I'm going to open it up for questions. If people have any questions, I am happy to answer those questions. Yeah, gee, I really hope we get to 2 million. That would be absolutely amazing. But I mean, I'm happy, dude. We're all just so honored for the support that we've gotten, but the more we can do, it just means that more people are going to get to experience this. So absolutely. That's where we are right now. $930,000, $930,049. So we're now less than, just about $5,000-ish away. Yeah, Curtis, it was fun while it lasted, but we've got to get there. Got a text message from George, so he must be down there. Let's see. All right, questions. What do we got? What are the questions? And I'm going to keep this up just because it's got the URL. Does Kickstarter accept kidneys? I'm not sure yet. Have all the playable species been revealed? I don't know. I will say, door clear, I just was working on an update today that shows a couple of the player, like the species pages from the rule book. So if it's initially not revealed yet, it will be revealed in the next day or so. It'd be cool if you did the 4d20 for the in blue and green to go with the heroic yellow. Dude, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. I feel like that's where we would have come to anyway, but you got it in my head now. So, yeah. What color is the villainous paladin closest to? Dark Templar or Gunmetal Knight? That is going to be a question for Joe Vassapolo. So if Joe's in the chat, Joe, can you answer that question for Kevin Boots? What color is the villainous paladin closest to? The Dark Templar or the Gunmetal Knight? Are all of the additional figures in the production schedule, will they be added and possibly delay delivery? It will not delay delivery. These will all be done at the same time. It's one of the reasons why we've had to be very careful about what we add. I have seen the calls for more female characters in the game, and it's tough because we didn't have the parts ready right now to do what we wanted to do with females. Wave 2 is going to have more females, but we've had to avoid like sculpting something quickly to try to squeeze in. Everything that's being done is already in our library or very well along, so we can try to hit that deadline of shipping to us at the end of the year. Will we do an all-in character pack for people who don't want the RPG elements? You mean just the toys, right? None of the RPG stuff. It's something we've avoided doing because this is about the RPG. We did do the core 6 combo, so it's something I've seen a few people ask for. It's something we'll think about. I mean, if people think that that's really something they want, at the end of the day, I want them to buy the game, but I don't want them to buy stuff they don't want. So definitely a consideration. Will Joe and I be doing pop and swaps with the figures before the Kickstarter ends? Rob, I really don't know, to be honest with you. We're so busy right now. We've only got one more show next week before we actually have the end of the campaign. So between that and the 24-hour or 28-hour marathon, Joe and I will try to do something. Unfortunately, all the figures right now are not even available. They're all packed up and headed to Toylanta. If you're going to Toylanta this weekend, all of the figures are there, including the Goblin. The Goblin is in Atlanta. So it's going to be fun to be able to show all of that off. So Joe doesn't remember the armor color, so we'll have to get back to you on that. Joe said, big maybe on Swap Show. When is the Armory sale? I mentioned earlier, it'll be towards the end of April. We're going to try to give a little bit of distance from the end of the Kickstarter for people to recover. Is everything planned to fulfill at the same time, or will it be staggered? Yes, we're planning that everything will fill at the same time. Again, we've pushed these things to try to get them ahead of the game so we can hit these deadlines that we set for ourselves. Will the heroic Paladin continue through other waves? As soon as the lore master was revealed, I started to think how cool it would be to have a purple version of the soft goods. I don't know if we'll do some of that. We'll have to see. It was fun to do it in this one. So, yes, Matt, the all-in pledge will be available tonight. This is one of the ways, like I said, a lot of Kickstarters, this is how they use, by allowing people to essentially pre-pledge, because that's what you're doing here, right? With the all-in, you're pre-pledging for stuff that isn't unlocked yet. And Dorklair's been beating this drum where he's like, look, go into your backer kit. If you think you're going to add another $1,000, just add $1,000 of bonus support. You can always change it before the end if the stuff you want doesn't unlock. But by planning for it now and putting it in there now, you're really helping push that number up. This is just another way of doing that. So tonight, those all-ins are going to be available for backing. Joe Cam live from Toylanta, Ackerman is saying. Don't know about that. Okay. Can't wait to play the RPG, Rocco says. Absolutely. Yes, Drunk Gizmo. Great seeing you this weekend, by the way. Yes, none of the figures are Kickstarter exclusives. The Kickstarter exclusive items are the dice set, the pin, the bag of skulls, and the basically the heroic Paladin mini and standee. Those are the items that will not be available outside of the Kickstarter. Desker, we just had the question about Pop and Swap Show. We would like to do it. We're going to see if we can fit it in our incredibly busy schedule in either next week or so. Doing our best. Have we announced all of the artists working on the RPG? No, there's tons of people that have been involved. There's actually been a lot of community photographers that have contributed some images to the books and stuff. The ones that we announced are some of the bigger names. We'll say that, but there's a lot, and there's some stuff that may not make this, release of the game. There's some stuff that was done that just doesn't fit with what we need right now that we'll hold off for later. Will there be a separate retail street date after the Kickstarters have shipped to backers? Yes. So we'll fill all the Kickstarter pledges first, and then we'll fill retailer orders. And pretty much similar like we do. Oh, Rob, you're welcome. Fan-centric is just, I've said this before, we wouldn't be doing this without the support of the fans. We wouldn't have the ability to do what we do. So it is absolutely our pleasure to give back where we can. Plus, I love talking about this stuff, right? It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Up to $930,598. So it looks like we're probably not going to cross that threshold. I say we're not going to cross it. Once I put this all in live, that could be what gets us right up there. I'm sitting there. Oh, so Stephen Bouchatti, big announcement. He had not backed before now. He apparently doesn't know how to bring me Superman ice cream, but he has figured out how to back the Kickstarter campaign. So you know what? At the end of the day, if one of those has to fail, I'm happy it's the Superman ice cream. I'm happy we got the backing. How is the new office? I haven't actually been in the new office with it fully set up. I saw it. I was actually one of the first ones to see it when the first day that we went there, I saw it. But at that point, we weren't moved in. We were just, dreaming. So I haven't been. I've been so busy traveling to other stuff. I haven't been to the studio to see the full construction and the move-in. I will be there in April. Mid-April, April 18th and 19th is ToyCon New Jersey. So I will be in New Jersey for ToyCon New Jersey. That will be my first time that I get to see the studio fully done. But Joe is chiming in and it's saying it's better than the old one. 10-year book will be awesome. So the 10-year book, update on that. The 10-year book, the final proof copies. Again, I told you it's been one thing after another, making sure this is the way we want it to be. The final proof copies should be in our hands. They might even be at the studio right now. They should be in our hands any day now. My anticipation is I will be able to approve it, and then we're going to start the print run. So they should be in your hands in the next couple months. The deluxe Paladin clerics are $70 at retail, so $10 more than in the Kickstarter. When will tickets for Legions Con 2026 go on sale? Right now, we're looking at they'll be on sale in April. Sometime in, if not April, May. Between April and May for sure. We've got a few things we need to do on our end to get everything ready. But figure reveals for Legions Con, tickets, opening of hotel rooms, that's all coming in the next month and a half. Cloud, it wasn't actually really proofreading. It was more printing issues that we had to work out. Oh, Greg chiming in saying the new building is transforming daily. It's magical. Absolutely. Okay. It's funny. So Curtis is saying, does the new location impact the number of potential interns? Chris and I were actually just talking about that today, about needing to start thinking about how we're going to do intern there so we can start the planning process sooner rather than later. So the answer on that is still pending. I can't imagine it's going to be fewer people that we can accommodate. So we'll have to see. Awesome, man. Thomas is saying this has been an awesome campaign. Really enjoyed the reveals throughout the timeline. Yeah, man, it's interesting. The campaign has been a lesson for me in kind of like shutting out the noise, because there's so many people, and I said this last week, so many well-intentioned people giving their advice, whether they're literally texting me or messaging me their advice or posting it in the Cabal. And don't get me wrong, everyone that gave that advice, thank you. Thank you so much for your passion. Thank you so much for wanting to try to help. But it's tough because like we've got a plan. Even stuff like when people look at stuff we release and they say like, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that. Keep in mind that all you're seeing is this release. We have 2 years of releases that are already either planned out or starting to get fleshed out. Certainly the rest of this year is planned out. So there's times where like we don't release something in a wave because we know we're releasing it in 3 months or something like that. So sometimes when you look at those comments, you almost want to just say like, wait for it, it's coming, but you got to keep the surprise. So I've appreciated all the commentary, but at the same time, I've had to try to kind of quiet the noise and just run the plan. Like, we've got a plan, we're running it. You know, we've adjusted where we have to adjust, and we're pretty excited about where it is right now. Oh yeah, Brian, you can't run a spell check on the Mythos book. It's insane. Yeah, and literally, yeah, it's all nuts. Curtis is saying, thanks for the mayoral mythic all-in. Nope, not mayoral. Master of Mythos, not mayor of Mythos. Ryan, you know I can't answer that. Yes, Jade, I am coming to Atlanta. I'm actually leaving tomorrow afternoon. Alec, you know I can't really reveal that. I can't reveal what's coming. All you know is that this Kickstarter ends on the 4th of April, and we've got an in-stock sale coming around the end of April. Is there a chance to get a Mercurian? You just got a Mercurian. We just gave you a Mercurian with Vetus 2 in the heart of the Dawns of Discovery wave. Show the Barbarian's face. Rick, I actually took the helmet off at at MuskeCon this weekend. I should have snapped a picture. I'm sorry. I didn't even think of that. Let's see. So Omar's telling me they have Superman ice cream in Duluth. Omar, I don't actually want to do any work to get Superman ice cream. I want Steve to bring it to me. And I'm going to be honest, I'm actually happy he didn't bring it to me because it allows me to talk smack for an entire year. I have 12 glorious months of being able to remind people how Stephen Bouchatti let me down. So it's better than ice cream. People ask, what's better than ice cream? This is better than ice cream. Being able to rag on Steven. Totally legitimately. Am I coming to Monsterpalooza? Yes, I am. I will be at Monsterpalooza as well. I'm also going to the Pacific Northwest Mythic Meetup in Oregon. That is in June? I don't know. Let me look. Yeah, I'm pretty positive that one's June. Let's see. Yeah, June 13th and 14th. My friend Blake, aka Recon Rage, he's the one that's doing that up in Oregon. Super, super excited for that. Booked my tickets and hotel and everything, so I will be there as well. I'm going to be on the West Coast. I'm going to be at Monsterpalooza in May. I'm going to be up in Oregon on the Pacific Northwest Meetup in June, and then I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con in July. So I'm spending quite a bit of time on the West Coast this year. Okay. Just checking out all the comments here. Will there be an add-on for all 3 deluxe Paladins? Not really sure what you mean, Tiffany, but those are already so loaded out. There's no plans for additional items in those figures or to go with those figures. Alex saying, I just got my Rising Suns order in, and Atlas 2 is now my favorite figure in the line. This is an incredible wave, but I think Necro's a little better. Fair. I mean, hey, Necro's an amazing wave, so if that's your favorite one, I'm not going to argue there. As I said before, I really like Rising Suns, but Sons of the Red Star and Noble Bear are my 2 favorite factions, so I'm kind of predetermined to like this wave the most. I can't see. I will not be at Motu Fest. Four Horsemen will, but I am not planning to make that particular show. Unfortunately, I am traveling a lot, and at some point, I have to say no to something. But we will be there. Will I be building my choice player character to share our Mythic conversations? I'll be honest with you. I'm actually working on statting up Sir Gerard. I know a lot of people have wanted to see what some of our characters statted up would look like. So I'm being totally egotistical, and I'm like, okay, I'll start with Sir Gerard. So I'm working on that right now. Sir Gerard's going to be a dual profession character, both a fighter and a lore master, which I thought was pretty appropriate. Yeah, there will be Mercurian parts in the in-stock sale. I think there's one figure that comes with the Mercurian helmet, Brian. When will Ox Crew Book 2 be shipping? Kevin, I expect an announcement on that very, very soon. Very, very soon. Omar coming in with the heat. Scapular version 2 is the best figure ever made. I cannot argue with you, Omar. I knew I liked you. Rising Sun is a game changer. I agree with every word you are saying there. An add-on level with all three paladins. Yeah, you got to be careful. Like you can overdo it. We already have more pledge levels and add-on items than is typical, right? They're like, there's a lot of Kickstarters that have only 5 pledge levels or whatever. We've already got a lot, and I'm about to add more. So you can overdo it. Like, and this is part of what I was saying, like kind of quieting the noise, where there's so many people that are like, oh, I would love it if there was a level that has these 3 items in this or this, and everything's available separately. Like literally, you can a la carte anything you want in this Kickstarter. The only things in this Kickstarter that are not like you can just buy them are those the exclusive mini and the exclusive standee that come with the heroic Paladin cleric. Those are available in a couple combo packs. Those are the only things that you can't just buy on their own. Everything else is available. So you can absolutely a la carte anything you want to make your pledge exactly what you want. Bundling them up, we're already at the point where I would argue we have too many. So I really need to be careful about adding some others. I need more Scapula lore. The Emir says, I had a great conversation with the Emir at MuskeeCon this weekend. We talked a lot of lore. Very cool. Xylernian Guard arms and legs go hard on Scapular. Yeah, Scapular is one of these figures that I'm seeing like people do so much with him, whether they're putting like fabric pieces or fully armoring him out. Kane Bowles, Travis's son, he had Scapular set up with 2 other Scapulars behind him in the robes, like basically the Emir look. So he had 2 Emirs, because the Emir is meant to be an individual character. It's actually meant to be an alter ego. If you want a little bit of lore, I've said this to Mike this weekend. The character that's in the Emir costume is not necessarily always Scapular. It is a disguise Scapular uses, but there are other times where he allows some of his underlings to wear that disguise to do his bidding. It makes sense. Yeah, the Emir decoys. Accent kicked in there. But it was really cool to see, just because they kind of have that almost like guard like look. So almost like 2 guards with Scapular in the middle. So very, very cool. I love everything that I've been seeing people swap with him. Funel saying, I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight. Well, tell you what, man, just because of that, let's go back and let's just look at them again. Let's bring them right up. There we go. So I'll bring them on there because I'm going to be signing off in just a minute. So I figure I'll leave you with that. The Malignant Paladin cleric. So these are some of the things to be mindful of. We've got 10 days left in this Kickstarter. It's time to kick this into high gear. If you have not pledged yet and you plan to, please consider doing it sooner rather than later. There is genuinely no reason to wait until the end. You aren't charged until the end. So unlike a Store Horseman pre-order where there is a reason to wait to the end if you don't want to be charged sooner rather than later, no matter when you pledge, you're not going to get charged until the end. So putting that pledge in sooner rather than later helps us get this thing up. Getting this thing above $1 million, I really want this to be above $1 million going into that final week, because what's going to happen is Kickstarter continues to take notice. They continue to start pushing more marketing kind of push behind it. And that's what we want for people outside of our amazing community to continue to discover this, to help bring this thing to new heights. So getting in there, if you plan on adding some stuff before the end of the Kickstarter, getting the pledges in for that early certainly helps as well to push those numbers. 935,000, that's the first mark. We need to unlock that at Heads Pack. We need to get to our new high water mark for Kickstarter. And then after that, million is my mark. And from there, we're headed right to 1.5 million. So tonight, I'm going to make posts about the Goblin. I'm going to do all that. I'm going to get this Master of Mythos all in. I'm going to get that pledge level up. I hope to see a lot of you, or some of you at the very least, this weekend at Toylanta. The rest of you, I will see next week here on Mythic Conversation, and next Saturday on lots of amazing Legion shows. We're going to have that 28-hour telethon, marathon style thing to end this Kickstarter. Thank you, everyone that's backed so far. Thank you so much. Everyone that's considering backing and is going to do it before the end, thank you as well. As always, best community in the toy world. I'll talk to you soon, everybody. Good night.